Says it refuses to criminalise the use of bushmeat. The controversial subject of bushmeat consumption was debated at the COP17 conference today. The conference has criticised a lack of clear policies from African nations over bushmeat regulation.
A hugely divisive discussion. A committee set up at previous CITES summits has failed to make recommendations on the regulation of game trade to the Secretariat. South Africa, though, believes a workable compromise can be reached.
The South African government's position is clear. It says it will continue to defend and support rural communities' rights to consume bushmeat, provided that it is done in a sustainable manner and it is not part of illicit trade in endangered species.
We should not find ourselves saying a big no to the benefits for the communities. Otherwise, you will be at an imbalance with sustainable development. It's at the heart and the crux of this matter. So what we're really arguing here is that there is a gap by participation of the rural communities at this COP. So it is for that reason that the sponsored resolution that's been debated now is saying bring in the committee of communities for them to be heard.
Molewa also lashed out at Western conservation groups for trying to impose their views on African nations.
As and when we see the resource being depleted, we ourselves come here. We shouldn't be told by other people who do not have these resources. We ourselves come here and say, hey, leopards are now getting a little bit lower. For instance, we didn't allow leopard hunting just for 1 year, and so that they actually replicate. When we see that they are now increased, we say now let's go back and actually harvest them.
Zimbabwean officials also agree.
Poaching is happening because the real custodians, the natural custodians of natural resources, have been sidelined. The natural policemen, the natural game rangers, these animals have existed, as you know, for centuries. And these game parks were only set up in the last 50, 60, 70 years.
Some conservationists have raised concerns over health risks of consuming game. They point to the Ebola outbreak in East Africa as a case in point. Dumala Mohlaudi, SABC News, Sandton.